ESPN Las Vegas, 1100 AM and 100.9 FM, KWWN Las Vegas. Live from the Golden Circle Sportsbook inside the TI. This is Throw the Flag on ESPN Las Vegas.
All right, bright and early here. Throw the Flag at 8:59 on a Saturday morning. ESPN Las Vegas. ESPN Las Vegas. Throw the Flag at the Golden Circle Sports Bar. College football on the way. We got the 9 a.m. starts to get to preview the rest of the day. A lot of premium games at 12:30. Big game at 4:30 with Miami and Florida, and some good late-night games as well from a gambling standpoint and West Coast angle standpoint. So much to get into here on a Saturday morning. Griffin, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, Dave. I'm just here at the TI with you guys. We got another great weekend of college football. It doesn't get much better than this. I mean, to quote a Harbaugh brother, who's got it better than us?
I don't know. Maybe the customers who can sit here and drink. I'm ready to throw down some beers even at 9 o'clock in the morning. Why not, right? So early kickoffs, we'll get to Kentucky, Georgia, Iowa State, and Cincinnati. Also coming up, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, BC, Pitt, Clemson, North Carolina. We'll have some of our experts come along in Sam Panayotovich from Bet Sweats and also Scott Seidenberg, he of Better Day Podcast in a little bit. A game I'm very interested in, Air Force and Navy, as I'm looking at the total in that one. Kansas State and Baylor, Army UAB. We had some games last night in the Mountain West Conference. We'll get to those inside of 5 minutes. So here's a cool thing to throw at TI Vegas. This is Throw the Flag at the Golden Circle Sports Bar. First of all, happy hour starts in an hour. You're like, what? Yeah. 10 a.m., 6 p, $5 draft beers. That's every day, 7 days a week. And you've got free parking. So you walk in, you're not 25 in the hole from the get-go, and you got $5 beers. And the menu here is outstanding. And they've also held the menu, the prices in check for years now. So they do a really good job here with the menu. We'll give you some of the items. You can get breakfast. You can get that during the week, midnight to 6. Weekends, midnight until 12:30. That includes some healthy options like fruit, the parfait, also the breakfast sandwich, the chicken chilaquile. So a lot of good stuff.
I mean, I'm more of a meaty breakfast kind of guy, but a parfait here at Treasure Island, they do it right. The fruit's really good. I've had it a couple times, and it is phenomenal. Healthy way to start your Saturday morning, Steve.
All right, let's get to what happened last night. First of all, San Jose State takes out New Mexico. A lot of people believe in Jason X Squad is actually middle of the pack, or maybe one of the teams to beat, one of the schools to beat in the Mountain West Conference. Close game, but San Jose State got out to an explosive start, and frankly, New Mexico got out of its running game, and when it tried to run, couldn't. Ran for less than 3 yards a carry. Lobos have kind of bullied people this year. So a good bounce-back win for Coach Ken Niumatalolo as San Jose State moves to 2-3, and New Mexico is 3-2. And what it shows is that the middle, and San Jose State was actually the second pick in the preseason in the Mountain West Conference poll. It shows that the middle and those teams that are, nipping at the heels of Boise State and maybe UNLV, if you believe that UNLV is 100% legit at 4-0. A big test tonight. We'll get into that later on with Caleb Herring as they have a 4 o'clock kickoff in Laramie and a 3 o'clock pregame start, the Ted Weems pregame right here on ESPN Las Vegas. But with San Jose State and New Mexico, good litmus test, and we'll see if they, in the next couple of games, if they are legit, potentially for second, third, fourth place. The team I still don't necessarily believe in, but they posted one big win on the board against a Cal team that has been really solid in the ACC. If you remember a couple weeks ago, Cal Griffin went to San Diego State and just got slaughtered 34-0.
Yeah, a 34-0, especially when you're going to have a great start like 4-0 to a season. It's a little bit of a humble. It's a little bit of a get back to reality type moment. But that's, like we said, week to week, you got to take the wins and losses as they come. You can't look down the line. You suffer a loss like that, it's time to bounce back, and it's time to see what they can do this week against the Blue Devils.
So San Diego State, the win a couple weeks over Cal, they build on the momentum at home last night. Really took care of Colorado State pretty easily, 45-24. So San Diego State, are they back? I thought they'd be one of the three worst teams in the Mountain West Conference. I thought that Sean Lewis, not necessarily on his way out, but this thing is just not going to work out. But, they got a local kid. And then I go to transfer back home, Apple Valley guy. And he came back from Michigan. They're 4-1 out of the gates. They're playing pretty good defense. On the other side, CSU, Jay Norvell has been a little disappointing to Colorado State fans, although I think they have to deal with reality that they are a middle of the conference team, although next up is the Pac-12 and arguably a better conference. I don't know if it is. I think the disloyal five joining the Pac-2, the Pac-2 teams are not very good right now. Washington State's okay. Oregon State stinks. Point being, CSU expects to go into the Pac-12 with momentum. We talked to Jay Norvell at Mountain West Conference Media Days over downtown, and Norvell was confident that, hey, they're going to go out, have a good season, and be ready to go with more talent, more money. They got a lot of money behind that program, and boy, Colorado State just got crushed, 45-24. So Jay Norvell, who's kind of reeling right now, is he gave up the play calling duties, which you might see that with a guy like an underqualified guy like Brian Callahan with the Titans. But with Jay Norvell, a little bit weird. So Matt Mummy took over, and it didn't look much better yesterday. But the problem is the defense. They got just run over by San Diego State as they had two 100-yard rushers, including Lucky Sutton. They have good running backs, San Diego State. They got one kid who's 6'1", 225. That's Sutton. The other kid is 6 foot and 220.
I mean, look at the wins this season for San Diego State, Steve. Last week, they beat a Northern Illinois team 6-3. And people may look at that score and say, that must have been an awful game. These teams must be awful. No. There's moments like that. There's games like that. Your offense isn't always going to be clicking. So the fact that you can secure a win like that, 6-3, and then week before that, 34-0 to California, Washington State, they took a little step back. But still, I mean, this team, like you said, before they make that jump to the traitorous new Pac-12 conference, they are making a statement in their final year in the Mountain West. I'm very excited especially once they get the conference play, how the rest of this season looks for San Diego.
All right, let's get to these early games. Jess, we're going to jump ahead of game here and get to Iowa State and Cincinnati. That one just kicked off. Cincinnati was a slight dog as the host in this one. Total is 55.5. Scott Seidenberg from Better Day Podcast joins Cofield Company every week, and he gave his breakdown of Cincinnati and Iowa State.
Kind of one of those situations, right, where people see the number 14 team as an underdog, and they're like, what? We should always bet the ranked team, right? No, stop that. Cincinnati is the rightful favorite in this spot. Cincinnati's going to win this game. Cincy, what has impressed me the most this season is their offensive line play. They've only allowed one sack so far this season, and they've been dominant inside the red zone. They are one of just 13 teams in the nation that are perfect, 100% in the red zone this season. 14 touchdowns in 17 trips, too. Brendan Sorsby is one of the highest-rated passers on PFF so far this season, and Iowa State's just not getting after the quarterback. 124th in pass rush grade. They're 53rd in the nation in tackles for loss. I think Cincinnati puts up some numbers here offensively and gets a big victory over a ranked opponent.
Sorsby 2 of 3 on the first drive, 29 yards. Cincinnati on the board after an Evan Pryor 30-yard run. That one went off at Cincinnati 1. And again, the total 55.5. So good start if you're an over total better. Have you ever been to the city of Cincinnati? Do I have to do 20 minutes here on Skyline Chili or Gold Star Chili? We already did that a couple weeks ago, but
I mean, if you feel like if the chili was that good to where you can carry it over to this week, I won't be mad at you.
I've been to Cincinnati many times. I was at that stadium, and for the Lord of me, I cannot remember the freaking name of the stadium. I'll find it. But I was at that stadium. Now, you got to keep in mind, I'm old. Griffin's not. So I don't expect you to say, I remember that. No, actually, you know what? It was before you were born. Not to young man shame you, old guy. Back in my day, which makes me old. I was at that stadium. There were probably 15,000 people there, and I was calling a college game, probably my 19th year in college. And my school, Rutgers, was going for a bowl game berth and felt real good, and Cincinnati was not very good. And I sat there and did play-by-play in a – I don't know why I'm telling this story. In a press box, this is very much pulling back the curtain. When you go into press boxes and you call games, you want to be able to open the window so you get crowd sound.
Right.
And for some reason, the window would not open. So it was like this pathetic, echoey, horrific loss. They never went to bowl games.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe me, it's funny. Now that I cover UNLV and I do sidelines for UNLV, the fact that they're successful is awesome. But there was a run there first couple of years where they would have these games that were key games to potentially get a bowl game berth, and you'd fall short. And that feeling when you're a program that isn't quite there yet is rough. So just my memory of Cincinnati Stadium. I didn't like it.
So
it looks full today. They look all fired up today.
I gotta ask. Maybe I missed it. Did Rutgers ultimately become bowl eligible to win that game?
No.
Oof.
I'll look back. No one cares. No one cares what the score is, but no, they lost the game. I think it was a bad Cincinnati team. They lost the game, and what was us, right? What was us?
Can't go bowling every single season.
Back then, they didn't go bowling like any season, so that was the problem. They were desperate to make a freaking bowl game.
That is the problem that you're right. The Rebels have. They know all too well, especially Rebel fans. But hey,
until the last 2 years.
I mean, hey, Steve, you never know. Maybe Rutgers is going to get their own combo of Barry Odom and Dan Mullen. They're
doing okay now. They posted a couple 7-win seasons. The last couple weeks were disappointing. They have a bye week this week, but they lost to Iowa, fading in the fourth quarter, and also lost last week, fading again. So a little bit of a theme there. All right, Kentucky and Georgia has kicked off. I'm not going to say this is a big game for Kentucky. Yes, it would be lovely to freaking pull off the massive upset. They got some trouble in terms of what the future is going to look like. They might have to make a coaching change. That one, 2 minutes in, it's scoreless. To go down the board with these 9 a.m. starts, Wisconsin and Michigan. Boy, this is another job. I didn't think it was a rebuilding job, but Luke Fickell's having a really tough time turning the corner with Wisconsin, and Michigan has looked dominant. This one was a low total of 43.5. Game went off at Michigan 17. Clemson, North Carolina has kicked off. See if we got any score in this one. Yes, we do. Early on. Oh, my God. Looks like a kickoff. Oh, my God. It looks like a kickoff for tonight.
Somebody called Jordan Hudson.
That was quite the reaction. No, it was a pass. What? I'll have to read into this one. 75-yard pass, 19 seconds in. So,
oh, my goodness.
Jordan Hudson is throwing her go-go boots out the window at Kenan Stadium as she sits in an empty booth.
And Bill Belichick's going long to catch him.
This has not gone well. 1-3 Clemson. Believe it or not. 1-3 Clemson. The game went off at 14.5, and the Tigers out to a 1-0 start. I don't know if we have the game around us. We have view of like 9 TVs of the 55 here. The expectation was that Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, they're not calling it Chapel Bill anymore. That went away real quick. In Chapel Hill was going to be invaded by Tiger fans. I'll have to do the mock up on the distance from Clemson, South Carolina to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I never made that ride. I did go to Chapel Hill more than a few times when I'm going to go back in my history again.
No, please.
This one you were actually born.
Yes.
But I went up to Chapel Hill more than a few times to go cover some college football when I was working in Charlotte. Lovely stadium.
I was about to ask, lovely
campus too.
As a college football fan, regardless of your allegiance, I feel like Chapel Hill is one of those places you just have to see and experience in person. How does it stand to the other stadiums you've been in your life in the college realm?
Stadium's cool. Campus is ridiculous. I can see why people want to go to school there. Actually, very good academic school. Maybe the best stadium I went to when I was working there, it was only a short time because they were good and it was full. Believe it or not, was Wake Forest. I got a chance to go into the Dean Dome. Just kind of cavernous giant building. I think they're moving on from the Dean Dome pretty soon. But and at NC State, ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to talk old Cofield memories. NC State, I got to cover an up-and-coming true freshman quarterback who was blowing people away. Can you remember the best quarterback in the history of NC State?
That's a tough one. It's on the tip of my tongue.
He was a big kid, 6'5" and 230, Southern accent, liked to talk.
You're not talking about old Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
You saw him in college?
I saw him as a freshman, like in probably his fifth game. I'm like, oh, okay, he's pretty good.
Oh my goodness. That
Chuck Amato was the head coach, a little Italian guy, stout-chested Italian guy, barrel-chested.
Was Rivers as brash as we all know him today? Or is
but he's not. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
He was. I don't think he was ever brash during his career in doing media. He was always good, really good with the media. Now he was the same guy at 18 years old. On the field he was fired up, but off the field completely polite, nice guy.
Man, Rivers back in college. These another one I would be interested in to go back and really watch the film on, like a Peyton Manning in Tennessee. Just really see how they get, especially these, the older guys who are in the pros and were in so many years that we got so used to them. And, you can tell their style by, if you couldn't even see who they were. Seeing them in college is just, it's
you
so
understand,
I want to be.
Phillip Rivers as a freshman in college, like pretty decent level recruit. Peyton Manning was a massive recruit. So he was a megastar as soon as he got to Tennessee. Rivers was one of those guys where it's like, oh man, NC State's good. And they got some 6'5" gunslinger who's throwing the ball over the yard. Oh, that delivery is kind of interesting. He's throwing sidearm a bunch. All right, so some scores here. We'll go back into Cofield old times stories. Kentucky now does trail 6-0. This one could be a freaking boat race situation. Georgia goes up 6-0, scoring in that one. Gunnar Stockton just ran one in from 7 yards. Good finish. Twisted around on the tackle. Got face mask. Actually, that's why he got twisted around. He got face mask. See if they threw the flag on that one. He did hit the pylon. So touchdown Georgia. 9 minutes left in the first quarter. Illinois, Purdue, scoreless. Barry Odom squad, Purdue. Plucky. We'll see if they can pull off the upset here. I did not bet this one. I probably should have looked at it. I don't know why I fell behind this week, but they were actually at home. They went off here at STN as 10.5-point dogs.
We might have a score actually for that one right now. It looks like Purdue. Looks like Purdue's right on the goal line.
Don't jump the gun, my friend.
No, it's going to be probably about
scores when they do it.
It's probably going to be about on the 1 yard line, but they are definitely knocking on that door to get this touchdown.
Very impressed with the Boilermaker crowd. They got back into this thing real quick in terms of fan support because they were terrible the last 2 years. Also, we probably should mention some of the speculation. I was thinking who we had on this week on ESPN Las Vegas. It was actually one of the hosts, Jeff Parles, was making the prediction that he thinks Barry Odom's going to leave Purdue after 1 year to take the Arkansas job where he was the DC. I do not agree. Honorable man. I don't think he'll bail after 1 year. 2 years?
Possibly.
We've seen it?
Possibility, but it is hard to resist temptation there, Steve. I mean, we know Barry Odom, his history. He was with the Razorbacks before coming over to the UNLV Rebels. And, listening to Jeff Parles talk about, Barry Odom's, desire to get back to the SEC, maybe possibly get back to his old team and seeing, now that Sam Pittman's out the door and Bobby Petrino is what looks to be.
What if Petrino earns a job?
Then
that's not a foregone conclusion.
I mean, then it's the greatest long play in college football history because this guy, after the motorcycle ride from hell, he was able to still come back and find his way back into his old job. You got to take your hat off to him.
A top 10 most indelible image. Bobby Petrino looking like he got lit up by a rough gang in, I don't know, Fayetteville or Little Rock, but instead it was a motorcycle accident with his side piece, and he's wearing a neck brace at the press conference. But he's come all the way back. And you know what? I can't guarantee it, but I'll tell you what, if they close like real strong, he's a candidate for the job. All right, North Carolina's on the board. We'll get you an update on how long this field goal was. Let's bring in, and we're a little bit into the game. You can still do the in-play here on the STN app. Let's bring in Sam Peniottovich, who joined us during the week and broke down just a real interesting matchup, Dabo and Belichick, and how he was going to handle this one.
Oh, man. This is a polarizing game with two polarizing coaches. Two of the most clicky names we found out in a meeting the other day. Oh, people love reading about Belichick and Dabo. Great.
Oh, okay.
You suck. Yeah. Hey, you want to write about it? No, I don't. Actually, I hate the game. I hate the number. Yeah, well, hey, whatever clicks these days, right? Yep. Wait till I start my TikTok and start dancing. Clemson, let's see. Number in Vegas is 14 pretty much everywhere. South Point's got 13.5 and a pretty low total. That's because Carolina might not score a bunch. 46 down to 45.5. I mean, look, I watched Clemson give up 300 first half yards to Syracuse, and that was embarrassing in its own right. Carolina is just so bad, man. And I understand, like, Belichick catching points is an angle for sure. I don't trust either coach or either team right now, but guess what? It clicks. So I'll probably have something in the show on Thursday. If you made me pick it, I'd probably take the Carolina side plus the 14, but they're so bad, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost by 21.
Well, game went off at 14.5, and if Sam did take Carolina, they've edged back into the game. It's very early. It's only 5 minutes in. Clemson leads that one 7-3. We're going to hear from Sammy P in just a couple minutes on Penn State and UCLA. Also, Scott Seidenberg is going to give us his take on Bama and Vanderbilt. That's all coming up on Throw the Flag right here on ESPN Las Vegas. We're at the Golden Circle Sports Bar, so come on down and grab some breakfast. We got games all day long here. This is a wonderful spot to watch the NFL. Right now, STN, the sports app, has a $50 no-worry wager when you sign up for a new account. That's a $50 bonus. That's awesome. They got a full-service sports book. You got the betting kiosk as well. Come on down here. Happy hour starting up in 40 minutes. Yep, they start at 10 a.m. at Treasure Island.
Football Central is back on its 25th year. Spend Sunday at the Westgate Superbook with ESPN Las Vegas. We'll have great prizes and great food, drink and beer specials, plus reduced juice at -108. Huge 4K screens to see it all go down. This and every Sunday at the Westgate Las Vegas.
Wrap up your NFL Sunday with the New England Patriots in Buffalo taking on the Bills. All the action starts at 5 on Raider Nation Radio 920 AM. Brought to you by the Richard Harris Law Firm. Just in case, call 444-4444.
Hey, Chuck, people seem to need Dollar Loan Center more than ever these days.
Look, banks stopped lending money years ago to average folks who just need $1,000 or so for a little while to get through their situation. They say that half the country can't even withstand a $1,000 emergency. And that's where we come in. We get it. People end up in a pinch. You always know where you stand at the Dollar Loan Center. We're very transparent, lend more, charge less.
All right, good job on the sound.
And treat you like family. If you like.
Hey, Vegas, we're in a break.
You're spot on, Chuck. DLC lends up to $5,000 in minutes, and you can get your cash in person at one of our 70
We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Stick with us.
Don'tBeBroke.com.
Ending. We fight hard, we fight smart, and we never forget it's your life we have on our hands.
Gina Carina and Associates, changing lives daily. Gambler's bonus hits again. On August 2nd, Candace hit 4 queens, clearing her Gambler's bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for over $16,000. Candace hit big, and so can you with Gambler's bonus. It's why you play the game.
Give thanks for flavor with a Pilgrim from Portive Subs. Turkey, stuffing, cranberries, and rosemary Swiss bread. Basically Thanksgiving in every bite. No leftovers, just gratitude. Order now at portivesubs.com or your local Portive Subs.
Now back to the Golden Circle Sportsbook inside the TI. This is Throw the Flag.
Georgia 7-0 over Kentucky. K-State 7-0 over Baylor. We'll get you all the first quarter scores of the 9 a.m. starts. We'll start rolling out the 12:30 starts in just a little bit. It's ESPN Las Vegas on the road on a Saturday. We do the show every Saturday, 9 to 11. It is Throw the Flag. Full breakdown of college football underway, and then we look at college football for the rest of the day. Chuck Esposito will be up from the STN book here at Treasure Island. He'll be around 10:30, and he'll take us through the NFL, and we'll give some NFL picks for the end of the show, along with UFC 320. Less than 15 away from going up to Laramie, Wyoming. Big game for UNLV. 4-0, looking to go 5-0. Small dog against the Wyoming Cowboys. Weather expected, so we'll find out what the weather is. Maybe chilly, rainy. I don't know if they'll have wind, but they will have elevation. That's always there. 72-20. Dan Mullen seemed to suggest – actually, I don't want to misquote him. Maybe I have to look back at the coach's show. I was watching the coach's show, and I swear he said that the elevation doesn't affect you until you're there for 72 hours.
See, I don't know about that one.
I don't know either, but, of legend, Jerry Tarkanian back in the day said about road games in Wyoming, well, it doesn't affect you because you're indoors.
Yeah,
it does. It did. I know. As I use myself as the test case. I'm not the greatest example because I'm chubby and old, and these are premium, in shape athletes. But I do know at times inside of the arena auditorium, if I have to climb upstairs, I'm a hot mess. I need oxygen, so I feel it. I think in the third and fourth quarter, some of the players, especially those who've never been there, and there's actually, the crazy thing is because the Mountain West got so big in terms of schools, Griffin, UNLV hasn't made a trip there since 2019. So it's been 6 years. And I remember that trip, and it was an absolute hellhole as things went wrong. And I keep using the term. It really did feel like it. Under Craig Bowl, Wyoming ran the ball so well as the game went along, and they were just power running and mashing you. All of a sudden, the field felt tilted, and you're on the wrong side on defense. Like they're coming down at you.
Oh yeah,
rolling hard.
Let me just, with all due respect to Dan Mullen and everybody else who are, I guess, elevation doubters.
I don't think he was an elevation doubter, and I also think I misquoted him. He also could have been joking.
He could have been joking. I will say during my time, when I was playing, whether it was over at Cal Poly, or during my JUCO years in Arizona, one of my favorite things to do was to return home to Utah, closer to the South Jordan, Salt Lake City area, and do my training up there, do my conditioning up there, because you feel it instantly, Steve. You feel the elevation, and it's not necessarily like you just can't all of a sudden can't breathe. But if you're doing an activity like playing a Division I Mountain West Conference football game, and you're right, if you're on that defense on either side or on any visiting team, you're going to feel it the second that the Cowboys make a big play. The second that they get a big run, that first down, big pass down the field, the conditioning really hits you. The wind, you really struggle to catch a wind. And it's more of a gut check time in those moments, because you have to really push yourself past the inability to breathe, past the inability to really go the speed you're used to, because that elevation comes on you. And if you're not used to it, it is a long day for you in the office.
12:30 start, Penn State at UCLA in the Rose Bowl. Right now the line sits at 24.5 with a Nittany on the road. Favored. Sam Panayotovich checked in during the week to talk about this game, which looks like a game where Penn State should roll, right?
These are the games historically Franklin wins and wins big. And they also have not been very good ATS this year. Now, a small sample size, but there have been 2 backdoor covers against Penn State, including the Villanova 4th and goal the white tight end in the back of the end zone makes an acrobatic catch and gets his foot down. Penn State has not made the boosters money, and UCLA, Steve, I don't know how much you've seen, or Jeff, you've seen. They are horrendous. And this is kind of what Franklin does. He beats up on these inferior teams that have no chance. The problem is early in the season when they're facing these bum teams, the number's 42, 44, 45. I mean, they dominated a lot of those games. This feels like a good entry point on Penn State. Just beat the doors off UCLA, and then here's the reality. They probably lose to Ohio State, and then they're 10-2 at the end of the year with 2 losses to the best teams they've played, and the committee likely puts them into the playoff.
They're the third choice Penn State to win the national title. So anyone thinks one loss when you're in the Big Ten knocks you out of it, that's phooey. They're 7-1 to win the national title. Penn State is still a very good team. And they lost a close game that could have gone the other way against Oregon. UCLA right now is a mess. Tim Skipper, former UNLV assistant coach, is the head coach. Tino Sunseri just went bye-bye. He's the OC. The DC went to the unemployment line 2 weeks ago. I am always looking in these Big Ten games when schools are making the long road trip to take the dog, especially if it's a home dog, but I can't do it here. Texas and Florida starts up at 12:30. You know, I feel comfortable laying the points. I'll get you the latest number with the Longhorns playing the Gators. Here's Sam Panayotovich talking about the game, but he's looking more at the total, which is very, very manageable with Texas and Florida.
This total's getting smoked last 2 days under, which makes sense. We saw an open at 43.5, and that didn't last too long. Most folks in Vegas are 42 now. I understand it wholeheartedly because these offenses have been very inefficient. Josh Pate, who I love, covers the sport at a very high level. Texas is 103rd in the country, third down offense. Florida, 123rd. So not even in the top 100 either way. Wise guys have bet Florida a bunch this year. They love this team catching points. Okay, I guess I get it. I mean, they didn't cover either time in those big matchups. It was LSU the first one and then Miami in the second one, I think. Like they just didn't they didn't cover. They fought, but the offense has been so bad. Yeah, they lost by 10 at LSU and then 19 at Miami. But in both games, Sharps came in and bet them big and kind of moved that number down. I'm still holding out hope that Texas is fine. Defensively, very, very good. And I think Arch can move the ball. I think that's so overblown. Oh, they went to Columbus week 1 and couldn't move the ball. Like it's a little ridiculous. It's a month of the offense now. I actually lean to Texas, and if I can lay a 6 by Friday or Saturday, I'll be happy about it.
ESPN Las Vegas, throw the flag. Sam Panayotovich on Texas and Florida. I so want to lay, and I also never do this, the 5.5 on the road against Florida. But there's a little part of me that thinks that Florida is still fighting like hell for its coach.
They're 1-3 right now. It is a tough time if you're part of that Florida Gator program. They could be fighting for Billy Napier. They could hope to keep their coach, but at 1-3, and you're going against a team in Texas where the nation can say what they want about Arch Manning's start to this year. Texas is still Texas. I believe that defense is still one of the best in the country. I think that this offense is going to be doable. And I'm very curious to see this Texas team, Steve, in this season, once we start getting to games like this, where it's SEC play. That like Sam was talking about, they have the Red River rivalry next week against Oklahoma. John Mateer possibly more than likely going to miss that one. So they could, I don't think it's a look ahead in that sense. So I could see it, but I still think the overall team of Texas is just going to overpower Florida. I would be taking Texas in this one.
Pitt 7-0 on BC. That's 4 minutes left in the first. Late first, Kansas State, deep in its own territory, leads Baylor 7-3. Clemson has put another touchdown on the board. It's 14-3 at North Carolina. Air Force and Navy. Let's go. Start scoring. 7-3. Falcons on the road against Navy, 7-3 in that one. Wisconsin, Michigan tied at 7. Georgia's out to a 7-0 lead against Kentucky. Cincinnati, nice recommendation so far by Scott Seidenberg, 10-0 on number 14, Iowa State, and Army and UAB are scoreless. Up next, we'll get into Diego Pavia, Alabama, the Vandy trash talk for the last year. I think Alabama's going to be really angry. We'll get the angles on that big game as you're listening to Throw the Flag right here on ESPN Las Vegas.
Hey, Chuck, can you walk our listeners through the process of getting a signature loan from Dollar Loan Center and don'tbebroke.com?
You just need a couple things: a state-issued ID, a recent pay stub, proof of residence, the basics. You fill out a simple application in the store.
Jess, this will be a quick segment. We'll
Applying is free at
do
the
some
DLC.
catch up
For a
and
new
be ready to
customer, all
go
this takes around
for
30
Caleb at
minutes
like
and you're out the door. Cash in hand,
42,
but
43,
leave
44
the
after a break,
first
okay?
interest for free. We're also a direct that will just sell your information over and over. Be careful of that and always use a direct licensed lender like the DLC.
DLC lends up to $5,000 in minutes, and you can get your cash in person at one of our 70 locations, on our website, don'tbebroke.com, or even over the phone with one of our helpful, real staff members. You're going to love Dollar Loan Center.
Coach Saban here. On the field or on your walls, coverage matters. That's why I go with Behr Marquee Interior Paint and Primer from the Home Depot.
Exceptional hide, advanced stain blocking, and over 1,000 colors to choose from. Behr Marquee delivers one-coat coverage that stands up to real life. One-coat coverage, no overtime. Behr Marquee, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid only when tinted to colors from the Behr Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Collection.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything.
Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on.
From our father, to our family, to the expert legal team at the Castroverde, we founded this firm for you. We're the Castroverde Brothers.
And we have your back.
Brotherswin.com.
Hey, Jeff, how's the new job working out?
Really sucks. Terrible boss, and the paycheck is even worse. I gotta get a new job.
Truck you.
Wait, what?
Truck you.
You don't have to curse at me.
Dude, you should check out Truck You CDL training. My brother got his CDL license in 4 weeks, and now he has a new career making great money.
Okay, I'm listening.
Truck You offers small classes with night and weekend times available. They will even help with payment programs. Check them out. Trust the letter U, LB.com. Truck You.
Plumbers, HVAC techs, contractors, and DIYers. McFadden Industrial Hardware has the tools, parts, and supplies to power your next project. Open early and stocked with everything you need. Stop by South Decatur near Russell. McFadden Industrial Hardware. Fast, easy, and built for the pros.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste. Brewed with fighting spirit since 1925. Let's get back to Throw the Flag. Live from the TI's Golden Circle Sportsbook.
ESPN Las Vegas on the Saturday, going until 11 o'clock. Purdue, 7-0 against Illinois. Barry Odom's squad with an early touchdown. Maybe Illinois is just overrated. As I tried to tell everyone at Big Ten Media Days, they're like, oh, Illinois is going to be that fourth team right there with Oregon and Ohio State and Penn State. Not so fast, my friend. 7-0 at the end of one. Although Illinois has it deep in Purdue territory. Purdue got a touchdown from Ryan Brown, who was a hell of a pickup in and out of the transfer portal. And he is right now a top 15 quarterback in the country, according to PFF. All right, before we hear from Seidenberg and Panayotovich on a couple of different angles with another midday game, Vandy and Bama, what do you think is going to happen? We got a 10.5-point spread as Vandy goes into Bama. Off of that upset victory last year, they ripped down the goalpost. They've walked it over to whatever rivers in Nashville. Pavia has basically talked trash for 11.5 months since. And by the way, the number has ticked up now to 12. Bama 12.
I think that we're not going to see the same kind of game we saw last year. I think Alabama, I believe they were ranked 1 last year, Steve, before that upset against Vanderbilt. I don't think this Vanderbilt team's sneaking up on this Bama team. I think Bama kind of already got their surprise of the year, a little gut check time after that week 1 first game of the season against FSU. So I think Bohr and the Crimson Tide, they are expecting Vanderbilt to come in. They're expecting their best game. They are probably, if I had to guess, I'm guessing this coaching staff for the Tide have been, the Tide have been talking about this Vanderbilt team as if they are, the incoming, Philadelphia Eagles with every single player that you could think of on their squad, because they are trying to get this. They are trying to make sure their players are prepared and that they don't get embarrassed like they did last season, getting upset by Pavia and this squad. So I see Alabama not only being prepared for this team, but I think if they can get to the point, they are going to try and just pour it on Vanderbilt, try to get back for last season and really make a statement going forward for the rest of the year.
Scott Seidenberg talked about how bettors are playing Vandy and Bama.
And if they win, if they can beat Alabama this week, that number's cut in half, you would think, because if they do pull it off, yeah, he's going to be the main catalyst for that. And we were getting ready for Bear Bets this week and going through some of the stats and trends. I think a lot of this stuff is really overblown, but if you find the right centralized stat, it's really powerful. Kalen DeBoer now, as a head coach in college football, as an underdog, is tremendous. 10-2 ATS. 10-2. Really good. 9 of those games he won outright. As a favorite, though, DeBoer, 26-24-1. 7 outright losses as a double-digit favorite. This team at Alabama, the team at Washington, even before Washington, DeBoer teams always play up to the competition, and then they play down. So if you like Pavia, I think Jeff is sort of hinting that he might as well. You can bet a 17. I'd see an 18 in the market, and if they actually pull it off, like a lot of teams have against a Kalen DeBoer team, you'll put yourself in another great spot. There's a good chance he might be the favorite if they can beat Alabama, move to 6-0.
So that was Sam Panayotovich on Pavia getting on it today, because if Heisman bet, because if Vandy pulls off the upset again and Pavia is outstanding, forget about it. You're not getting 14, 15, 16, 18, 20-1 on Diego Pavia. Let's fire Scott Seidenberg this time as he talks about betting the sides here in Vandy and Bama.
And if they win, if they can beat...
The market's not catching up to Vandy enough, right? This is, believe it or not, the 51st consecutive conference game for Vanderbilt as an underdog. Now, I'm not saying that they should be favored over Alabama, but 10.5 is way too much here. I understand it's a revenge spot for Alabama after, the game that happened last season, but Vanderbilt has been so impressive this season, and possessions will be at a premium in this game because Vandy's offense is one of the slowest, most deliberate offenses in the country. Only 5 teams have taken more time per snaps this season than Vanderbilt. But you look at this, third down success. Vanderbilt, the 4th best third down team in the nation, while Alabama ranks 101st in third down defense. So they're not going to be able to get Vanderbilt off the field. And then I looked at some trends because I love trends, guys. If you win as the underdog in a top 25 matchup, and now you are favored the following game, since the start of the 2021 season, 15-26 against the spread. That's 36.6%. I think this is a letdown spot for Alabama after the big win in Georgia. Give me Vanderbilt plus the points.
Wow, that is a contrarian take, a letdown spot. Okay. 21-3 right now. Clemson now on top of North Carolina. Kate Klubnik with a pair of touchdown passes, one 35-yarder, another 45 yards. Let's get the UNLV preview back here in just a couple minutes. We'll also get the Heisman update, or at least the opinion of one Caleb Herring, who is on the road in Laramie. And throw the flag right here on ESPN Las Vegas.
Cofield and Company's Monday Night Football home is the front yard at Ellis Island Casino and Hotel. Join Willie Ramirez and me, Cofield, as we give away sweet prizes. Check out M&F. And now you can place your bets at the brand new Boomer Sportsbook. Monday, starting at 3 o'clock. Cofield and Company, live in the front yard at Ellis Island Casino and Hotel.
Here for Sunday Night Football on Westwood One. Mike Golick and I bring you AFC East action this week when the Bills host the Patriots. Drake May, Stephon Diggs of New England scored 42 points in their win against Carolina on Sunday. Now they'll try to keep up with Josh Allen and the 4-0 Bills. Join us for the Patriots at the Bills coming up Cincinnati Sunday Night Football.
Right here on the Las Vegas Sports Network.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Gambler's bonus hits again. On August 2nd, Candace hit 4 queens, clearing her Gambler's bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for over $16,000. Candace hit big, and so can you. With Gambler's bonus, it's why you play the game.
Attorney Matt Hoffman with Battleborn Injury Lawyers. When you're in a crash with a company vehicle, things get complicated fast. Multiple layers of insurance, workers' compensation issues. It can feel like a maze. That's why you need Battleborn. Our experienced team knows how to handle complex cases, and we'll find every layer of insurance and get you the compensation you deserve. Don't let the system overwhelm you. At Battleborn, we take on the toughest cases and win. Call me today at 766-1400. At Battleborn, your battle is our fight.
Football Central at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino is the place to catch all of the action. Join ESPN Las Vegas every Sunday morning in the Superbook as we break down the games with the Westgate's John Murray. Free admission with tons of comfortable smoke-free seating with all the games shown on the cutting-edge 4K video wall. Make bets easily on the Westgate Superbook mobile app, plus great specials on drinks, buckets of beer, and food. See you Sunday for Football Central at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino with ESPN Las Vegas.
We good with Caleb?
Let's get back to Throw the Flag. Live from the TI's Golden Circle Sportsbook.
All right, time to go up here on ESPN Las Vegas to Laramie, Wyoming, and on the ground for the UNLV game later today is Caleb Herring, former UNLV quarterback. What's up, Caleb?
Yeah, I'm missing you, Steve. Honestly, I miss you, buddy. No, everything's going great over here in Laramie. It looks like the storm system that was expected to impact maybe kickoff is slowly making its way in right now, but it's actually a really beautiful time of year here in Laramie. The last time I was here, it was covered in snow, so it looks a lot different without that. So, yeah, no, it's going good up here.
Talk about your memories as a player with the elevation and oftentimes the weather, and Wyoming has always built its brand on physical football.
Yeah, and that's a tale as old as time as far as the physicality of Wyoming football. Historically, it has been their identity. Even though today, they have more shotgun, I guess, personnel, more 11 personnel. The root of what they want to be as a football team is that strong and aggressive in the trenches on both sides of the ball. So that's true. The altitude is definitely problematic. I don't know if people have ever been to 7,000 feet of elevation, but you feel it, right? I'm not even part of the team. I haven't jogged one iota while I was here, but you could feel it just on the walk up from the car, especially if you're from Vegas or California like me. Vegas actually does have a little bit of altitude, little known fact, but it's nowhere near as impactful as what they deal with up here in Wyoming. Dan Mullen, if you listen to the Dan Mullen coaches show last week, joked about it sarcastically, saying it's not going to be a problem. We won't be there that long. So, but everybody's aware the altitude's going to stink. And then if there is some wet weather that goes on, that also could play a factor as well. But Laramie plays into the altitude, and they love to let you know about it as a visiting team.
Speaking with Caleb Herring, color commentator for the UNLV Rebels. Caleb, during your time as the quarterback for the Rebels, obviously you are familiar with this territory. You can kind of see what the Rebels are going to be facing later on in this Cowboy team. With this UNLV defense, when it comes to defending the pass, They rank somewhat to the bottom of the Mountain West currently. But, you know, at the same time, they have also been able to get a lot of turnovers through the defending the pass, a lot of interceptions this season. Knowing the Cowboys like to weaponize that elevation that they have, do you see the Rebels facing more of a pass-happy offense today, or do you think the Cowboys are going to try and keep it on the ground and run, get the run game going?
I would say I would lean towards run. This goes back to identity. I think a lot of teams probably would see UNLV's secondary and say, we got potential to take shots. And they've been tested. I mean, every team that they've played so far has done just that. But I think Wyoming might be the first, maybe even the only team that UNLV has on the schedule that won't fall to that temptation. But then it's also just the guys that have on the edges. And this is not to knock anybody who's on scholarship who's trying to figure it out. They just don't have the athletes on the edges to, I think, take advantage of that more than they would in the run game. I think their strength is the run game. That's probably where they're going to try to stay in that wheelhouse. That does not mean they won't take shots. They'll test it every now and then. But I wouldn't see an all-out aerial assault coming from Wyoming. They got a receiver that by far is their number one target in Durr. So he will probably be the one, if anybody, to get some shots down the field. He plays out of the slot primarily. But outside of that, they don't really have much experience or explosiveness on the edges. Obviously, their tight ends in the play-action game could be a threat for the secondary. But I think Wyoming won't take the bait. Yeah, I think they're going to stay true to their colors, and they're going to try to establish a ground game and make it a dirty, physical game at the line of scrimmage.
Caleb Herring on ESPN Las Vegas for the flag. Do you see Jet Thomas getting 15, 17, 20 carries today?
I don't. And I just don't think that – I think there's a point in the season where Jet will be unleashed, right? And I think we saw this last year as well. Like, if you want to get Jet to the November games of the schedule, when every inch counts and everybody's fighting for, bowl contention, Mountain West championship spot, all of that stuff starts to intensify in November. It's just the way college football goes. So I think there's a point where you keep his rep count, manageable. And then in the later games, I would say maybe even Boise State, depending on how things go, would probably be the game where you unleash him, get him to 15, 20 carries, and maybe even more than that. But I think at his shot, you have to be honest about it. Keeping him healthy is a priority, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. While it is electrifying to see Jet, make these 30-yard gains with broken tackles everywhere, and it's exciting and fans are clamoring for it, I think there's an understanding that his availability is his biggest ability. And it's the reality of his situation with his stature. He has to maintain his rep count in order to stay healthy for a full season. And I think you keep him at a low rate. Now, I think he needs to get a little bit more touches. I think there's ways to get him involved without giving him punishment. Going the whole first half with one touch is just, I think, a little bit, even for, the plan is to keep him in rep count. I think that's a little bit low, right? So we probably would still see a rep count with him, but look for him to get unleashed later in November, similar to what he did last year.
Caleb, as a proud UNLV alum of about a month, I take a lot of pride in this Rebel team. I love to see the success. That right now they are starting out 4-0, and there's some people questioning how legit this 4-0 start is for the Rebels. And a lot of people like to turn back and look at the game against Miami of Ohio, where the Rebels had to come back 3 separate times. It was a closer game than a lot of people were expecting. What would a win today against this Wyoming Cowboy team, who right now are standing at 2-2, but it is a conference rival? Does this win, do you think, shut a lot of that doubt up about this Rebel team, especially if they start off this first year under Dan Mullen 5-0?
I think it does. I think winning convincingly, and I think that's the one thing the Rebels haven't done. They've shown during 30 minutes at a time that they can be a convincing opponent, like they can dominate a team. But I think they haven't put 60 minutes together yet, and that I think is encouraging and discouraging at the same time. Right? Like why haven't they? But then once they do, it'll be special. Now everybody's 0-0. Well, UNLV is 0-0 right now because this is their first conference game. So it's an opportunity actually to push reset on that season where, 4-0 is great, but there has been a lot of doubt, and a lot of it has been legitimate doubt. You would think that coming out of that non-conference schedule with a 4-0 record, that UNLV may have cracked the top 25. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they haven't won convincingly. It seems like, based on the box scores, they've been inching out and eking out these victories. So a convincing win in your first conference game, I think, will change the narrative quite a bit. And I think that is the focus of this team, Dan Mullen in particular. The goal was to get the Mountain West Championship and win that thing finally. After 2 years of coming up short, the goal for this team is to get to it and win it. And there's no way to do that without handling your business during conference play. So this is the first opportunity to kind of convince the rest of the world that they are a legitimate contender. And I think the convincing one here does change that narrative for the season for sure.
Caleb Herring on ESPN Las Vegas, Throw the Flag. 2 minutes, 2 questions. Running back for Wyoming, Tote Harris. Rush, this could be the guy that could upset the apple cart today.
Yeah, he's a speedster, and he's playing behind a big offensive line, some 300-pounders. He's got the explosion that makes you worry, right? Like if he gets past that first wave and gets going, big plays can happen. And we've seen with UNLV, part of their issues have been gap integrity. And when you have poor gap integrity, this guy can take it the distance. And they actually got a pretty good 1-2 punch as far as thunder and lightning. It's coming behind him as a change of pace. He's a big running back. Who can deliver some punishment. Not as quick, of course, but he's a bruiser for sure. So they've got a good combination between their two backs that have been leading the way so far. And they really just discovered, house money with this freshman. He's going to be an explosive asset for sure in their offense. And like I said, he's dangerous in space because of that speed. So he could take a 6-7 yard gain. And if you miss a step on your angle, he can take it the distance. So you got to be aware of that. And again, they're going to be looking to establish a ground game in all kinds of ways possible. He's more suited to the shotgun style, so I think maybe that's why you see a little bit more of the shotgun formations for him. But don't be fooled. They can get under center and thud it out with the best of them still with that big offensive line.
30 seconds. Broadcaster bites. The road trip to Laramie. Did you find something called the rail yard? What'd you get?
Yeah, the rail yard was absolutely fantastic. The beef was fresh. It was sprinkled with budget. I got a meal for $15, including fries and a couple of refills on my dinner.
Oh, sprinkled with value.
You would have loved it.
Budget.
You would have loved it. And then we actually ended up doing it's homecoming week here, so the bar scene was actually pretty popular downtown for Orlando. We did a bar run, a place called the Cowboy, a place called Third Street Bar. It was a good time. Yeah, I had to fun with the Lyric crew. I'm sad that you're missing Steve. This was right up your alley. There were some divey bars that we got to. It was pretty fun.
Duty called. You know how it goes. All right, Caleb, we'll be listening 3 o'clock for the Ted Weens pregame show. Have a good call today, and safe trip back. Thanks, man.
All right, guys, take care.
Yeah, I told you. I think I said it on the air yesterday. Last time to Laramie on like a Friday night. Yeah. The Buckhorn is one of their big bars. And that was the moment where I was like, man, I am really old. I am in my 50s. I felt just old, creepy guy vibes from me. It was the place was so young. All right. Coming back, 10 o'clock hours on the way. We'll get you updates on what's going on. Iowa State posting the comeback here against Cincinnati after falling down big. It's Throw the Flag, ESPN Las Vegas.
Banks require good credit. So how does that work at Dollar Loan Center?
Look, a lot of people have a crappy credit score, Craig. So what? That's our specialty, and we look at the whole picture, not just a number. We love to say yes quickly because we know it's important to our borrowers.
Well, what if you were denied in the past?
I love that question. If you were denied in the past and are still looking for a loan, before you go somewhere else and pay way too much, give us another shot. Everyone's situation changes. You might have a cosigner, new job, or raise, who knows? But we sure would like a chance to help you out.
DLC lends up to $5,000 in minutes, and you can get your cash in person at one of our 70 locations, on our website, don'tbebroke.com, or even over the phone with one of our helpful, real staff members. You're going to love Dollar Loan Center.
This October, the Nevada Office of Emergency Management, Homeland Security, and the Governor's Office of Technology teaming up to recognize Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Our goal is to empower every Nevadan with the tools and knowledge to stay safe, online. Cyber threats are constantly evolving, but simple actions can make a big difference. Use strong and unique passwords. Watch out for phishing scams and enable multi-factor authentication whenever possible. Cybersecurity is not just an IT issue. It's everyone's responsibility, from individuals to businesses to government partners. Together, we can protect our personal information, safeguard Nevada's digital infrastructure, and strengthen our communities against online threats. Let's stay sharp, stay secure, and keep Nevada safe. Sponsored by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Nevada Office of Emergency Management, and your local emergency manager's office. Aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt and are considering debt settlement, call Panda Law Firm before you agree to anything.
We'll review any debt settlement contract for free, explain anything you don't understand, and present all your options.
In most cases, people find that Panda's fees are actually less than the company they talk to over the phone, and that our plans are more affordable.
When you're considering debt relief, make sure you know who you're talking to.
Call Panda Law, 702-818-3388.
Hey, babe, where are you going?
Fantastic indoor swap meet.
The swap meet? I love Fantastic. Can I come along?
Sure, if you bring your wallet.
What are we shopping for?
Everything. It got everything, and it's a lot more fun than shopping online.
Okay, let's spend the afternoon. It's just over on Decatur and Okie.
You know, Fantastic's open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 6. And like they say, it's fantastic.
And like they say, we got it.
Listen to UNLV Sports right here on ESPN Las Vegas, 1100 AM and 100.9 FM, KWWN, Las Vegas. Live from the Golden Circle Sportsbook inside the TI, this is Throw the Flag on ESPN Las Vegas.
Breakfast being served. Got the granola parfait, the fresh fruit blend. That's the kind of stuff that a former football player in college eats, like Griffin. Not me. Breakfast sandwich, chicken chilaquiles, breakfast meat lovers quesadilla, and the chorizo con papas breakfast bowl. We're going to go through the scores of the 9 a.m. games. Continue to get you ready for the 12:30 and 4:30 games. Later this hour, Chuck Esposito from the Sportsbook here at the TI. He'll check in. Adam Hill. We'll get a preview of Colts and Raiders, and we'll get to the latest number on all the NFL games in the middle of this hour. All right, so what are you seeing so far? Any big shockers on the board? Georgia 14-7 against Kentucky. We talked about Cincinnati being out to a quick start.
I'm liking what I'm seeing right now from this Wisconsin Badgers Michigan Wolverines game. I mean, 7-7. It's the second quarter, about 12:50 or 12:43 left in the second quarter. A lot of people going into this one did not give the Badgers much of a shot, but keep in mind, this ain't the Harbaugh Michigan Wolverines. This is a new Michigan Wolverines. They're still ranked 20th in the nation. They are standing at 3-1, but it looks like it's a pretty competitive game from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that Cincinnati game, 24-7 now. Cincy over number 14, Iowa State. I don't care about rankings, but I like mentioning the rankings, especially with Big 12 schools, because that conference is a bloodbath. And, I forget what show it was, some college football show, and they were beating the drum real hard. I'm going to remember who it is. Someone was touting Texas Tech and Iowa State. Two teams are going to make the CFP. They might get two teams in, but it ain't going to be because they both get through the season with, say, one loss.
No.
It's probably going to have to be a situation where they get a lot of help from both the SEC and the Big Ten, because we know, and I love Rich Clark like I've loved no other man. He's the, I don't know why I said that. He's the head of the college football. He's a great man. He's actually a great man. He's a lieutenant general in the Air Force. You are that forever. He really is a wonderful man, because I get to talk to him in these preseason events, and he looks at me like, who the hell are you, and why are you speaking to me, a lieutenant general, like that?
I mean, of course.
He actually doesn't do that, but I always think he should. Like, at some point, he's like, you're a clown. I'm a general. Shut the hell up.
You just got to tell him, hey, this clown loves college football. This clown loves what you're doing, sir.
I'm not questioning his objectivity, but I just think the system is built, especially with the SEC and now the Big Ten, just constantly putting out, we're better, we're better, we're better, we're better. All right, you play good football. The Big 12 plays great football. It's funny. Here we go. Cofield rant time. It's funny. I keep seeing, and we addressed this week on the weekday show on ESPN Las Vegas. I keep seeing people try to come up with reasons why there's a group of quarterbacks that have not delivered to the preseason expectations, right?
Right.
So it's guys like Drew Aller, Arch Manning, DJ Lagway,
Cade Klubnik.
Keep clubbing count. You lost me on my route. What I was mentioning are all Big Ten and SEC guys who have let people down. Yeah, because they're overhyped. The best quarterback conference in the country is the Big 12.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And the offense they play is great. Some programs can play defense. Like I believe TCU can play defense. They got a big game today. Rant is done. I don't know even where I started. But you get my point. The Big 12 is going to be a bloodbath, and we're seeing it here. I don't think a lot of people, well, the odds makers did, and actually bettors did. So I'm going to retract what I was going to say, that people don't respect the Big 12, but this game got respect, and it's 24-7 right now.
I mean, the reason I wanted to throw Clay Kupnik in there is because is it the quarterback that was overhyped? Was it the team that he's on that is overhyped? I mean, you look at the Clemson Tigers, not the season whatsoever. David Sweeney thought he was going to have. They all thought they were, again, back to those old Clemson years with Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson competing for national titles. But now they come in 1-3, and a lot of it's put on to that quarterback for the Tigers. And a lot of we've seen with the narrative around the Texas Longhorns and Arch Manning, a guy who, again, never started a full season. This is his first actual season in college football as a starter. So it's crazy that people have these expectations of guys like Klubnik or guys like Manning coming out and just being world beaters, looking like Johnny Manziel back in the old days. But it's all about what's around the quarterback, what's around like his protection, his weapons, the run game. How does the defense? How often is he having to go out there and put points up? So you can't really judge a book by its cover, I guess.
On Klubnik, get right game today. Clemson 28-3. 2 minutes into the second quarter against North Carolina.
Oh, that's a beating.
Klubnik, 9 of 10, 158, 3 touchdowns. That's not bad. I guess he wasn't overhyped. Or North Carolina's just really awful.
Or maybe, that U.S., what was it, Us Weekly cover story. Maybe Bill Belichick's head somewhere else right now.
I don't want to do that again. I can't do it. Baylor, 10-7 on K-State. 5 minutes left in the first. Pittsburgh out to a 10-0 start against BC. 8 minutes left in the first half. Air Force and Navy, 10-10. Speed it up, fellas. The total's 51.5. Air Force and Navy. I thought Air Force would be able to score points today. Let's see how they got on the board. Air Force lost last week to Hawaii at home, but they showed they can actually throw the ball if they need to. They had Zarka go in from 7 yards for an Air Force touchdown. As you mentioned, Griffin, Wisconsin and Michigan knotted at 7, low-scoring game. 9 minutes left in the half. Georgia just punted. Oh, nice job by Kentucky. Hanging in there. It's 14-7. Bulldogs. Purdue got out with Mariota to a 7-0 start. Now it's 10-7. Illinois. Coming up at 12:30, a slew of good games. We'll get back into the rest of the 12:30 slate and then get you ready for Miami against Florida State. Wake and VTech will kick off. Actually, they just did. So that one kicked off with Virginia Tech as a -5.5 point favorite. Is there a quarterback out there that you can think of? I'm going to put you on the spot. Who has surprised people? Do you want to go with the local and Anthony Calandria, a Virginia transfer, who's top 8 in the country in PFF ratings?
Well,
at the quarterback position.
Well, if I didn't profess my undying, allegiance to the Rebels, again, alumni of about a month and a half, I would probably go Calandria, but I'm actually going to go with Diego Pavia over in Vanderbilt. The reason I say he's maybe not necessarily a surprise, as in, people were already aware of him, especially after the season they had last year. But I mean, I think it's a surprise to a lot of people that he's carried it into this year. I mean, they are still going strong. They have the potential to really make some noise in the nation with a possible victory today. Back-to-back years defeating the Alabama Crimson Tide. It's a tall task, but if they can get it done, maybe you look at Pavia, you look at this Vanderbilt team. They could make a huge statement today with a win, and I really like what I've seen from Pavia this season. He's been efficient, he's been good. A win today could even maybe get him rising up in those Heisman rankings and the Heisman odds. So I'm very impressed with him. I'm not impressed though with his willingness to sell his mother out to any comedian who comes by.
Yeah, why is Theo Vaughn around the Pavias again? Is this not creepy enough that Pavia said, "Hey, if we win," it wasn't the Bama game, right? They won the game they needed to, right? He offered up his mom in a date with whoever this Theo Vaughn guy is.
It was the South Carolina game. They had a bet that for some
make it a little harder. You got to beat Bama to get my mom.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why would you So if Vanderbilt won, Theo Vaughn in that bet won because that was the bet. If they beat South Carolina to that, Theo Vaughn would get to take his mom out of the day. Why wouldn't you switch it? It's almost like, Pavia, are you benefiting from Theo Vaughn being your stepdaddy?
By the way, I saw, and so did you, Theo Vaughn's mom. One, it's alarming because she's attractive. But it's alarming because when I saw her, I thought she was 35. But again, I'm old, so I think everyone looks really young.
35. She's 29. I honestly, I could have. She definitely could pass her very late 20s. She's a nurse, so she's smart. She got a good work ethic. I mean,
my guess is Theo Vaughn has no game and won't do anything, won't get anything done. So it reminds me of a great story, actually. If you have a chance in the audience, go to YouTube, watch Jimmy Fallon with Nicole Kidman.
Ooh.
He tells a story, and so does she, that he basically gets set up with Nicole Kidman. Kidman at the time, I think, was between dudes and was like, you know what? I might make a run here at Fallon. And she told the story that Fallon just fumbled the ball massively, had nothing. He got her up. She actually visited his apartment. And then he just botched it. He didn't have anything. He had nothing to offer, no drinks, no snacks. You got to have a cheese tray for the ladies. The place might not have been that clean. And she just laughed and laughed and laughed. And I could see Theo Vaughn with Pavia mom just botching it. Can I give you the consensus plays today in one of the bigger contests and what's happening in this consensus contest? 7 picks against the spread each week. To this point in the season, last week, it went 2-5. For the season, ATS, these are the most popular picks in a 7 college football game contest. For the season, the consensus picks are 11, 23, and 1. ATS. I mean, we're looking, we're in the 60% on that one. I mean, I'll give the audience the plays, and maybe it's just time to play all 7 games straight up and fade. Don't do a parlay. That's a little tough to hit a 17 parlay. Florida, +7 against Texas. Since he's already off the board, but you could go in game. Since he was a popular pick, they are winning right now. Cal +3 tonight. I'm going to give the numbers. They might be a little off. Against Duke. Florida State plus against Miami. Purdue started plus against Illinois. Bama laying the points. And Maryland plus. God, I wish I could go 11 and 23 or, well, I don't want to go 11 and 23, but be on the right side of the 23, 11 and 1. That's incredible.
Really is. I mean, Steve, tell me if you've heard this stat. Maryland, apparently one of the few teams in the country right now who have not, have not trailed this season.
That's a good way to put it.
I mean, Maryland out of nowhere. Another, a surprising stat I came across this morning. I had to bring it up too because nobody really thinks about Maryland.
Well, Maryland's been good offensively for the last couple of years, and they had the younger Littler, Tagovailoa at quarterback, Talia. They have it's simpleton stuff. College football is deeper now. There's more balance around the sport now than there's ever been. There's more upsets than there's ever been. because more and more schools are getting quarterbacks. The big programs can't stockpile 3 and 4 quarterbacks. And a lot of times kids now look at, say, a mid-level school like Maryland. You know what? Let me go there, and I'm going to get playing time early. I got 4 years to earn. So if they're going to pay me to come in, right, maybe a little more than a big school would to be the third stringer, and what I'm talking about here is Malik Washington, who's a freshman quarterback. If Loxley's going to pay me, if I go to Maryland and I play right away and I don't have to sit the bench, then all of a sudden now I've raised my value for year number 2. And you can look at it like on a year-by-year basis. I got 4 years of earning power. Let me go and earn. I'm playing, and that's why. And again, this is a very interesting spot. Washington, cross country. Ohio State last week. Now they got to go all the way to College Park, Maryland. Maryland's getting 5.5 here. I'm not saying that I'm playing it, but I might be playing it. I might be saying that.
It's definitely a very intriguing game. And my only concern, Steve, and I feel like a lot, over the time I've been working and you and I have been able to talk college football, I feel like I've come across as a curmudgeon, kind of pushing back on the freedom of the transfer portal.
You have to admit, though, you've learned a lot.
Of course. I learn every day. Learn every day.
That's all I wanted to say. I thought it was going to be this, hey, thanks, man. You really taught me about college football.
I'll give you a whole 20 minutes.
You could be the rare guy in the jockocracy who played the game, and you're like, you know what? I played the game, and I thought I knew a lot, and I thought, you were just some old schlub who didn't play the game and didn't know, and now I've learned from you.
Hey,
but go ahead on your whatever rant you're going.
If you're not humble enough to admit that you can learn it any day, you can always learn something new, then you're never going to learn a thing. Basically, my whole point with the transfer portal, my biggest fear is just, are we going to get to the point, Steve, where, like you said, there is so much freedom for these players to move around? Are we going to start seeing the point where these lower teams like Maryland, who isn't seen on the same scale as Ohio State and Michigan and Alabama, are we going to start seeing guys go to programs like this, have phenomenal years, maybe go and transfer over after not being the starter at their first school, going to the programs like this, having great seasons, and then basically using them as like junior college, where they go from there to, even in a bigger program.
Sometimes, but keep in mind, the other thing that we try to teach folks, because they don't know, because they're sort of insular in only understanding their market or what they hear about the SEC and the Big Ten, and Maryland's in the Big Ten. There are lots of pockets around the country that couldn't use their money because they would get caught for cheating. Now they can use their money. Maryland is backed by the guy who started Under Armour. Maryland has so much money. You know what happens when you start winning and you get a Malik Washington and he's kicking ass? You get more money, and it builds on itself. And kids aren't just going to the highest dollar spot. They want to play. And listen, we heard A.J. McCarron about 3 weeks ago whining. I'm a guy whining. He's like, oh, we don't have the money that Texas Tech has. You're Alabama. I don't want to hear that you don't have money. What are you talking about? But reality is, in Bumpkinville, sorry, brother, sometimes there is a limit to the money. And in some of these markets, like I heard a good conversation this morning. Hey, Vanderbilt's never been good because it's never had money. Now that Vanderbilt is getting better, Vanderbilt's an awesome school, unlike Alabama. It's got really rich alums. So when you win, like UNLV is a good case. UNLV wasn't getting a lot of money for the football program because it wasn't winning. When you win, guess what happens? I'm not going to just give you my money. Hey, you know what? Hey, congrats on the 2 wins. Let me up the money because I'm just going to throw blind hope at you and money. When you win, then there's the proof. There's the validation that my money is going to pay for something. So this is all going to correct itself. And all these people panicking about a system that is broke, the kids are this and kids are that. Shut up. It's all going to work out. And most people listening right now, you will admit college football has never been better. Now as you're listening, you're like, oh, no, I don't like it. It's different. I don't like it. Sit in the bathroom, sit on the throne, get some quiet time, and then you're like, oh my God, let me look at the scoreboard. You're getting like really fired up because there's 14 games at any given time where they're good games. There's something at stake. All right, we got a break. Throw the flag. ESPN Las Vegas. We're going to get to the afternoon games. I promise. We're going to get to Raiders and Colts here in just a couple minutes. And Chuck Esposito's on the way from STN Sportsbooks. He'll give us NFL angles from behind the counter, also the afternoon college football tilts. It's Throw the Flag on ESPN Las Vegas.
Football Central is back on its 25th year. Spend Sunday at the Westgate Superbook with ESPN Las Vegas. We'll have great prizes and great food, drink and beer specials, plus reduced juice at -108. Huge 4K screens to see it all go down. This and every Sunday at the Westgate Las Vegas.
Wrap up your NFL Sunday with the New England Patriots in Buffalo taking on the Bills. All the action starts at 5 on Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m. Brought to you by the Richard Harris Law Firm. Just in case, call 444-4444.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou, 800-345-2789. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes or overweight or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-345-2789. Big Lou will answer your call and work to
All right, sorry, Jess. I'm
policy that you
going
can
off the rails
afford.
here, but
Remember,
we'll probably use the
Big Lou's
Seidenberg
like
at some point
you.
on
He's
Michigan
meds
State.
too. Call 800-345-2789.
I think that's the only sound. All right, so on the way back, we're going to do what?
Personal injury law.
We still there?
Same for a
Okay, no, we cycle power. I didn't know if we.
and sleazy schemes.
Okay, I'm going to throw to Adam here, okay?
And the world doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way, with integrity, experience, and authenticity. We're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Price will have been upfront and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded blood products, which the FDA does not approve or require safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation. The healthcare provider will determine if appropriate. See website details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Now back to the Golden Circle Sportsbook inside the TI. This is Throw the Flag.
All right, let's preview Raiders at Colts. Indy is the spot. We talked to Adam Hill, so we go behind the patch. Adam, of course, a longtime member of the crew here at ESPN Las Vegas and on the staff at the Las Vegas Review-Journal. A little known fact, like I didn't know, I don't pay attention to RCA Dome, Lucas Oil Field, whatever the sponsor is. They actually have a retractable roof there, but the roof is never open. And this part of the conversation with Adam, we talked about the roof at that Colts stadium and what they're going to do tomorrow.
This is the time of year where if it's going to be open, it might be open. So we don't know if it's going to be open or closed. I think if they look at the past, Geno Smith, who has been very, very good in domes and very, very bad outside, they probably try to make it outside, but it's been the exact opposite this year. So do you go recent trend or do you go all-time trend and try to figure out what's going on with the other team's quarterback? Is that what makes the determination if you keep it open or closed, or is it just based on the weather and how the fans are going to experience it? I think it's probably that one. I don't think they pay too much attention to the other team necessarily in that regard. So we'll see. I think I've not been there when the roof is open. Might be a cool experience to check it out.
Adam, what are we thinking? Unfortunate news with Colton Miller, more serious than they initially thought. What do you think is going to happen with the O-line, and how do you think they'll hold up?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge question. No doubt about it. The offensive line has been a big story all year. It's been a work in progress. Things haven't gone well for that group. And then all of a sudden last week they kind of put it together. And it's been Colton Miller and just figure it out at the rest of the spots who who can have any kind of success. And last week they kind of bonded. They came together. They had a big running game, opened up some holes. They were good pass protection as well. First game, with no sacks. And then all of a sudden, Colt Miller, who has been the stalwart, the anchor of that line, the one that they can count on, goes down, and it's a huge fall off because we talk about injuries are relevant only to the extent of who the backup is. And there's a pretty big gap between Colt Miller and the backup. Stone Forsythe steps in. A guy who's not had much success at this level. He was drafted by Pete Carroll in Seattle. Pete Carroll wanted to go out and get him, bring him in, so he had confidence in him to be able to step in if he had to. But, the metrics certainly have not been good on Stone Forsythe for the last several years. And if he's not able to step up his game, that is a massive drop-off from Colt Miller. Stone Forsythe, Charles Grant is behind him, rookie, third-round pick, not quite ready yet. But I think the leash will be pretty small. If Stone Forsythe is not good, I think we very well could see Charles Grant before the end of this IR stint for Colt Miller. But, the hope on the Raiders side is that everything goes okay. What Pete Carroll said today was, we've thrown a lot of things at Stone Forsythe this week, and it's been quiet, which means, nothing has really gone wrong. It hasn't been a disaster. Like, everything's kind of been steady. So they hope that continues into the game. But certainly it's a test because the Colts defensive line is pretty good.
Adam Hill is a special teams expert. He's also a big fella expert. Generally, the big fellas seem to gravitate to Adam Hill. Stone Forsythe is like a really big fella. He's 6'8", 306. But I always like to know with big fellas, is he like a true big man? Like, is he kind of mean or is he kind of thoughtful? So he's like a little guy in a big guy's body.
I think it's more the second. He's pretty chill. I will assure you, Charles Grant, the rookie, is very much. He's me, basically.
Is that right?
Literally, like the most polite, like quiet, just super friendly. Meek and inherit the earth, as you like to say. One of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Hopefully it's a little different on the field. Jordan Meredith's the same way, but Charles Grant is definitely that. Stone Forsythe seems a little closer to that, but I don't know him. I wouldn't say I know him well enough yet necessarily. He wasn't really in during training camp. He came in kind of late in the process. So talked to him a bunch this week. He's confident and ready, but he doesn't really have that edge to him, at least off the field.
JPJ played really well last week. Obviously, that was the key to Ashton Denty getting off. Chip Kelly said Jackson Powers Johnson has a big head. But he was joking.
He doesn't want to get his head any bigger. I think he was kind of going in on the question, making fun of the question a little bit of whether he has like an aura that you can feel all the way up in the press box. And he was like, all right, now we're getting a little carried away.
An aura from a second-year guard? What?
Yeah. So it's I think he was just a little annoyed at the question. That's why I went into it, and then said hopefully we can get this kind of scrapped from the video so nobody sees this or we're talking about this. But I think from the coaching staff perspective, I think that they're getting a little tired of questions constantly about Jackson Powers.
What do you think about this Brock Bowers situation? Hasn't practiced, can't really talk about the specifics of his knee injury. Clearly he's frustrated. So you think he's playing on Sunday, and anything else you can tell us?
Yeah, he's playing. At least he's going to try to, unless something happens over the next couple of days. I did talk to Brock Bowers for a little bit today, both on and off the record, just about what's going on with him. He's frustrated, and he just kind of expressed that. Like, he said it's just annoying, it's frustrating. It's like he feels okay, and then he takes some steps, and then it doesn't feel okay, and then after practice it's swollen, and it's been a frustrating process up and down. And part of the reason is he didn't take time to let it heal, right? I mean, I think if he would have missed a game or two, maybe he could have got it back quicker, but he's tried to play through it, he's tried to gut it out, and it just is not going away. So they're trying a different tack this week. He didn't practice the last 2 days. They're hoping that it'll feel better, that he'll be stronger in the game with a little bit of extra time to rest. I asked him, did it work? Did these last 2 days work? How does it feel? And he just kind of, almost in a dejected way was like, it feels great, but I'm not doing anything. He's like, who knows? That first step, I'll be sore again. Like, it's just been that kind of a process. So I know that the frustration level is building, that it's just not getting any better. And I don't know if that's necessarily going to change the way that they're handling his reps now. That's what they're trying to do, is less reps during the week. Maybe that gets you more healthy reps during game time. But we can also say, like, yes, he seems like he's struggling, but he is basically at the exact same pace he was last year through 4 games. I think he has 1 less catch, 9 more yards than he did last year at this time. And also his separation numbers are actually better than they were last year. So it's not like he's not getting separation, even though he said he feels like he's not getting the separation. He actually kind of is. It's just, they're waiting until later in the games to go to him, maybe, starting off a little bit slow and only going to him when they have to. It's just that frustrating up and down when you deal with an injury. And Max Crosby did this last year. I mean, he tried to play through an injury that he probably shouldn't have. And, as much as he was impactful, he did just never look like himself the whole season.
Adam Hill in Indianapolis with a preview of the Raiders getting 7 at the Colts. Some of the early games around college football here on Throw the Flag on ESPN Las Vegas. Updates: Clemson 28-3 over North Carolina. Pitt 17-0. These are all in the first half, late in the first half. 17-0 on BC. Baylor 17-10 against Kansas State. 25 seconds left in the first half. And Wisconsin outgaining Michigan to this point, 150-139, but Michigan leads it 10-7. Next up, we go behind the counter on Throw the Flag as we'll talk to the boss of the book here, the SDN Sportsbook, Chuck Esposito.
We're here with Chuck, founder of Dollar Loan Center. You always tell me it's worth the drive. What do you mean by that?
We charge so much less than payday or title lenders, and unlike banks, we actually lend money. Our locations are really nice, Craig. No bulletproof glass, plastic furniture joints. They're like the banks used to be. Clean, fun, great tunes on, and real-life staff who love to help. And if you don't want to stop in, you can complete your whole application on your couch via your fancy smartphone. But we sure would like to meet you in person and tell you all about Dollar Loan Center and how we can help you get more money for less money.
DLC lends up to $5,000 in minutes, and you can get your cash in person at one of our 70 locations, on our website, don'tbebroke.com, or even over the phone with one of our helpful, real staff members. You're going to love Dollar Loan Center.
Sign up today for a new William Hill Nevada mobile sports account, and you can earn up to a $250 bonus bet after placing your first qualifying wager. The William Hill Nevada mobile sports app allows you to bet on the go from any iPhone, iPad, or Android device from anywhere in Nevada. Sign up today, and you will never miss another bet. With the largest wagering menu, the mobile sports app features same-game parlays, early cash out, and live in-play wagering on all major sports. For more information, official rules, and to see participating sign-up locations, visit williamhill.us. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with a Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Oh, Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your days.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything.
Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on.
From my father, to our family, to the expert legal team at the Castro Verde, we founded this firm for you. We're the Castro Verde Brothers,
and we have your back.
Brotherswin.com.
Let's get back to Throw the Flag. Live from the TI's Golden Circle Sportsbook.
Kansas State and Baylor, late K-State touchdown, 17 up at the half. Georgia trying to hold off Kentucky from scoring in some form or fashion right before the half. That one's 21-7. Georgia is leading. Happy hour going down right now. Yeah, 10 o'clock. Yep, 10:30 in the morning, 10 a.m. It's Vegas, baby. Let's go. 10 a.m. to 6 p. every day at the Breeze Bar, at Gillies, and here at the Golden Circle Sports Bar. Well, every week we get a chance to go behind the counter with the guy who runs the book here at the Golden Circle Sports Bar inside Treasure Island. That's Chuck Esposito from STN. And remember that right now they've got a $50 no-worry wager when you sign up for a new account. So download the STN app, make the deposit, and you are good to go. So we started off with Chuck talking about the college slate. We'll get to the NFL and kick things off with talk of Florida host in Vegas and what it looks like behind the counter and how Chuck looks at it.
I think you look at Texas 1-5 against the number. Their last 6 games, they've gone under 4 of their last 5 games. So we have seen it slip a little bit. And Florida, 10-4 against the number of their last 14 games. So we'll see who we ultimately need a kickoff. A ticket count does favor Florida a little bit here, but just at 54%.
Let's go to the big ACC matchup here. Kind of lost some of its flair since Florida State took that loss against Virginia, but still hosting Miami, Florida, still a rivalry, 4.5. Where's the betting been on this one?
Yeah, it's one of those games that you're right. That loss by Florida State against Virginia, it did hurt a lot. Miami comes in 4-0 in this game. They've had a little bit, Florida State's had a little bit of time to prepare for this since that Thursday night game. Miami opened up at a 5-point favorite. We've seen it as high as 6 before it came back down a little bit. Miami 14-3 straight up their last 17, but just 5-10 straight up their last 15 against Florida State. So something I'll have to give here. But ticket count does favor the Hurricanes at about 64%.
Last year we saw this matchup, and Vandy actually upset Alabama, 20-point underdog in that one. Now Alabama just a 10.5 point favorite against Vandy. What are you thinking for this SEC matchup?
Vandy's been getting a lot of love, but it's awfully tough to play Alabama, as we know at Alabama. They come into this game, as you said, the spread opened up 13 and went down to 10.5. Total's been as high as 57. It's also come down a little bit. Vandy comes in, as I said, at 5-0. Bama comes in off that big win against Georgia. Vandy 5-1 against the number their last 6 games. But guess what? Just 1-4 against the number their last 5 games against Bama. 67% of the tickets favor the Crimson Tide.
We got to go to Notre Dame here, and they looked impressive in their last game. We know there's still some question marks on their defensive side, but blew out Arkansas. Now 21-point favorite against Boise State.
Yeah, this number's really been going up, Alex. We opened at 18.5. It's been fairly one-sided. 64% of the tickets favor the Irish here. I don't think this is your same Boise team we've seen over the last couple of years. They have gone over in 13 of their last 20 games. They're 5-1 straight up in their last 6 games on the road, but just 1-4 against the number of their last 5 games against an opponent independent in the FBS conference. So we'll see what gives there. Notre Dame 13-3 against the number their last 16 games. 7-1 straight up at home their last 8 games, but close to a 3-touchdown favorite in this one against Boise.
Chuck Esposito on ESPN Las Vegas from the SPN Sportsbooks, SPN app. Tell people in multiple markets here about the $50 no-worry wager.
Well, we love when guests come out and hang out in our booth and enjoy everything we have to offer. As you and I chatted about last week, Steve, $3 beers, $3 shots, $1.99 margaritas, big screens. You can't beat it. But we know people get busy and there's things to do. So get signed up for SCN Sports. It brings the sportsbook to you, and you get a $50 no-worry wager for new signups. And what that means is up to $50. You hit the $50 no-worry wager, you win, great. If you happen to lose up to that $50 wager, we're going to give you your money back, and you get another shot at it. So kind of a cool thing. And as I mentioned, we love when you guys come out and enjoy everything we have to offer. But SCN Sports brings the sportsbook to you.
Texas A&M has grown to 16 here against Mississippi State. Is Levy and his Bulldogs, is this situation for real, or are we going to lay the wood here with A&M?
I don't know. I mean, I think you look at Mississippi State, they're 6-0 against the number their last 6 games. A&M just 1-8 against the number their last 9 games. But they're an awfully good team, and they're getting a lot of love from the bettors in this one. So we'll ultimately see but I think we're going to be Mississippi State fans when this game kicks off.
NFL Cowboys in New York to take on the Jets. What are the players doing? What are the Sharps doing?
Well, the Sharps are clearly on the JETS in this one, guys. I think you look at the Jets, and they need a win. They haven't had a win yet, and Aaron Glenn was dancing on the sideline a few weeks ago, thought he had a win, but this Cowboy team has made Russell Wilson, he's made Caleb Williams, and then he made last week against the Packers, he made Love look phenomenal. So this defense is not good. Maybe Matt Eberflus, maybe he knows Fields a little bit and his tendencies from the Bears, but this number is starting to crash down. It looks like we might be Cowboy fans. Uncharacteristic favorite we'll meet on Sunday when this game kicks off at 10 a.m. our time.
Texans Ravens. This was a pick this morning, then officially announced that Lamar Jackson is out, and now we're back to Texans -1 in Baltimore.
It's really a head scratcher to me, guys. We normally talk about a starting quarterback maybe up to a touchdown difference. This is close to a 10-point difference or more from where it would be with Lamar Jackson. I think it's more a product of as beat up as the Ravens are. They're beat up in the trenches and the secondary, offensive line, and of course Lamar Jackson. You're not going to get beat here with Cooper Rush with his leg. He's going to have to do it with his arm. But I'm really surprised that this game is where it's at. Although we have seen just a little bit of sharp money come in on the Ravens plus the points. Just seems strange to see the Ravens 1-3 and getting points at home against a Texan team that just can't seem to score this year. Does not look like the same C.J. Stroud as his rookie year 2 years ago.
Chuck Esposito on ESPN Las Vegas. Titans Cardinals, normally you look at that and you're like, probably not getting a whole lot of action. How much action is it getting? Because the line has moved a bunch. Now it's 7.5. At least on my
It definitely has. I mean, Sharps are clearly on the Titans. Kind of surprising a little bit. I know the Cardinals beat up at running back, but a little surprised because the Titans to me have looked just lost, especially offensive. But we're still going to be Cardinal fans when this kicks off, but there has been some sharp money come in on the Titans plus the point, especially at 8.5.
Chuck, I'm still fairly new in this business, but from what I've gathered, Sharps are pretty stubborn, and they've been betting on the Titans every week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I don't think you're quite as much of a novice as you claim, Alex. I think you're pretty good. But you're right. I mean, they back the Browns every week of late. We've seen a lot of Titan action, and you hit it on the nail. You hit the nail on the head. They are very, very stubborn. So that is the case. They're right in many cases, but they have been backing the Titans this year and the Browns almost on a weekly basis.
What about this division matchup? We saw the Bills look vulnerable a couple of weeks in a row now, 8-point favorites against the Patriots.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. The Bills 4 of their first 5 games, guys, at home in Buffalo. Then they go 3 of their next 4 on the road. This is a primetime game. They come off back-to-back games against the Dolphins and Saints where they don't cover. This game has come down just a bit. New England is 4-1 against the number their last 5 games against Buffalo, and maybe that's one of the reasons why these two teams also, the last 5 times they've met, 4 of those 5 times it's gone over. So you can expect maybe a lot of points here. I think we're still going to need the Patriots, though. I know there's been some sharp money on the dog, and this number's come down, but last home game for Buffalo before they hit a little bit of a road trip. They're at home on Sunday Night Football, back-to-back non-covers. My guess is Sunday night with everything live dumping into this game, we're going to be Patriot fans.
A couple key pieces missing on both sides. Commanders, Chargers, still think it's going to be a pretty good matchup. I'm sure you love this toggler, though. It's 3 right now for the Chargers.
Yeah, it is 3, and it's going to take an awful lot to push us off this 3. You look in Washington, 9-3 straight up in their last 12 games, 1-4-1 against the Chargers against the number their last 6 games. Chargers 12-4 against the number their last 16, and this was a Charger team that I thought going into last week, guys, they beat the Giants, they would go to 4-0. You look at how tough the game might have been for the Chiefs. They could have been 1-3. And so the Chiefs win. They look really good in that game against the Ravens. Chargers get beat against the Giants. The demise of the Chiefs way over-exaggerated. This game's sitting at 3 right now. Kind of a big game for both teams. I know that the Commanders get Daniels back, but you look at how beat up they are at wideout. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more money on the Chargers. I think that money will show. I think we'll be Commander fans when this game kicks off as well.
The battle of the 3-1 teams here. Impressive for the Seahawks. Tough place to play. The Buccaneers getting 3.5.
Yeah, I think the Bucks without Bucky Irving is going to hurt a little bit. We did see some sharp money. We put these numbers up a week in advance, and you saw some sharp money on the Seahawks when the number was below the 3. So clearly that's the side they're backing. Tampa's got a really tough game next week, but we're going to be Tampa fans. 68% of the tickets are on the Seahawks right now, Alex.
Chuck Esposito is with ESPN Las Vegas, ESPN Reno. Broncos, Eagles. This went to 3.5, but I think now it's back at 4.
It is back at 4 right now. Denver just 1-4 guys in their last 5 games against the number. They could easily be 4-0 as well. I mean, they lost 2 games with a last-second field goal in games that they could have won. Denver's also gone under 5 of their last 6 games. So, I mean, it's a tough place to go play. Philly 5-1 against the number of their last 6 games. I was initially surprised this number came down. 59% of the tickets are on the Eagles. So there is some Denver love there, and the initial push downward was sharp action. But as you mentioned, Steve, starting to creep back up just a little bit.
Vikings, Browns, London. You love the early morning games. The bettors love the early morning games. Man, I was ready to go real big on this one. I was going to throw another $10 on the side of the Vikings. But here's the thing, because Dylan Gabriel starting against a great defense and Brian Flores. Then I read the injury report, and Carson Wentz is out there, and like every offensive lineman is out for Minnesota. Yeah. What the heck are we going to do?
I'm still surprised the number is just 3.5. I mean, you just look at Dylan Gabriel getting his first start against that Minnesota defense. He's lucky, though. He's not playing at home, that if he struggles, maybe you get some boo birds. He's not on the road where you're playing at Minnesota in the dome where it might be tough. He's overseas. There are going to be fans for both these two teams there. I'm just surprised the number is where it's at. My guess is we're still clearly going to be Brown fans when it kicks off, but you're right. Yay, Sportsbook. I love 6:30 a.m. kickoff. Just adds to the overall day on Sunday.
Chuck, how are people playing the Raiders and Colts?
They're playing the Colts. As banged up as the Raiders are, if it's at tight end with Bowers and Mayer, if it's at defensive line with Crosby, the interceptions that Geno's thrown, 3 against the Bears, 7 for the year right now. Usually we're rooting for the opposition of the Raiders, but not in this case. We are clearly going to be Raider fans. 69% of the tickets are on the Colts, and 64% of the tickets are on the over in this game, guys.
Chuck Esposito, STN book, as we go behind the counter each and every week on Football Friday, and then here on Saturday morning at the Golden Circle Sports Bar. Throw the flag on ESPN Las Vegas. All right, more college football picks coming up, NFL angles as well, and UFC 320 is in Vegas. Some halftime scores. Griffin, Illinois stormed back after falling behind 7-0 against Purdue. 27-14 at the break. The Illini lead that one. Army 10-7 over UAB. All halftime. 241 yards of offense, 21-7 lead for Georgia over Kentucky. Wisconsin and Michigan pretty even on the total yards count. Wolverines 10-7. Navy and Air Force. I'm throwing out a lot of total yards just to give you a gauge of the feel of the first half. Over 500 yards combined between Air Force and Navy in the first half. 17-10. Navy leads. A minute left. Clemson crushing North Carolina and Belichick and Jordan Hudson. 35. She's not playing. There's no need for that. 35-3. Clemson leads. 17 up. K-State and Baylor at the break. And one interesting game, just because the spread would not suggest that this was going to be an absolute wipeout. Pittsburgh and BC. Pitt was a 3.5-point favorite. 31-0 at the break. I was doing a little deep dive. I'm like, man, Eli Holstein must be having a really big game for Pittsburgh, the Alabama transfer. Nope, he's out. And they have a freshman, Mason Heinschel. Pretty close to Heinz, right? Sounds like the catch-up. Mason Heinschel, and this again speaks to scouting and personnel work. Mason Heinschel starting over former Alabama quarterback Eli Holstein, who was recruited by everyone. Heinschel was recruited by the likes of Liberty and Bowling Green and Ohio, and he was nothing against the MAC, but he was mostly a MAC recruit. And Pittsburgh leads that one 31-0 as Heinschel, 19-26, 220-plus yards and 2 touchdowns. Before we get to the NFL on the other side, give me your thoughts on the Raiders +7. Close game or not?
I think it's actually going to be a pretty close game. You look at the defense for both the Colts and the Raiders. Colts are a little better, but both are more closer to the middle of the pack when it comes to overall defense. Last week, we did see a Raiders team kind of blow up in the run game with Ashton Jensen finally having his coming out party. Had a big game, couple of touchdowns, both running in and catching. Geno Smith with the bad turnovers. Geno has to lock in and really get back to those Seattle Seahawks days. If he can do that and they can have somewhat of the success they had last week in the run game, I could see the Raiders really keeping this close and going up against a team that a lot of people are high on right now at the start of the NFL season.
UNLV is laying 3.5 totals, 48 against Wyoming. We'll have a pick on that one. And the biggest college football game of the day is Miami at Florida State. Stick with us. Throw the flag on a Saturday morning, live at the Golden Circle Sports Bar here at Treasure Island on ESPN Las Vegas.
Attorney Matt Hoffman with Battleborn Injury Lawyers. When you're injured, you don't just need a lawyer. You need a partner who understands what you're going through. At Battleborn, our attorneys don't just handle your case. We walk beside you every step of the way. We meet with you personally from day one. We actually answer your calls, and we keep you informed. Don't settle for a law firm that ignores your calls and makes you feel like a burden. Choose Battleborn Injury Lawyers. Call 766-1400 for a free consultation. That's 766-1400. At Battleborn, your battle is our fight. Football Central at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino is the place to catch all of the action. Join ESPN Las Vegas every Sunday morning in the Superbook as we break down the games with the Westgate's John Murray. Free admission with tons of comfortable smoke-free seating with all the games shown on the cutting-edge 4K video walls. Make bets easily on the Westgate Superbook mobile app, plus great specials on drinks, buckets of beer, and food. See you Sunday for Football Central at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino with ESPN Las Vegas. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLE.
Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas. Let me tell you how to get an interest-free trial loan with Dollar Loan Center. Did I get your attention? At Dollar Loan Center and don'tbebroke.com, not only is it always free to apply, but we also throw in a full week worth of free interest for every new customer. Really, even if you borrow $5,000, you can just repay the principal at the end of the week with absolutely no other costs. We can't make it any more transparent than that. Give us a shot and let us become your backup when things aren't going so well. Dollar Loan Center offers signature loans up to $5,000 in minutes with up to a year to pay it back. With locations in Pahrump, Mesquite, and Laughlin. Or check us out and apply online at don'tbebroke.com.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything.
Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on.
From my father, to our family, to the expert legal team at the Castro Verde, we founded this firm for you. We're the Castro Verde Brothers.
And we have your back.
Brotherswin.com. Hello, I'm Jesse Fonseca with Park Place Realty. I have been your local broker since 1990. Yes, that's 35 years. So if you're looking at selling or buying a home, I'd love to be your choice. Call or text for more information, 702-736-3000. I'm also a mortgage banker, so if no one will lend you, I'll lend you. I have a lot of money. Credit restoration, notary, and much more. Call for a free home evaluation, 736-3000.
License A143790, Geneva Financial, 3995.
Let's get back to Throw the Flag. Live from the TI's Golden Circle Sportsbook.
So we have a bunch of great 12:30 games coming up around college football. ESPN Las Vegas. Throw the flag. Get on out here. You still got 90 minutes. You can get breakfast at the Golden Circle Sports Bar. Breakfast sandwich, chicken chilaquiles, the granola parfait, and then after that, it's on. It's on. Get the hat trick sampler, chicken wings, Southpaw chicken tenders. I like buffalo cauliflower, but not on a Saturday for college football.
No, you don't.
That eats health.
You like cauliflower buffalo or buffalo?
Actually, yeah.
Really?
Big cauliflower fan. Big broccoli fan. Become a vegetable guy as I've gotten older. Not overly vegetable, not vegan or vegetarian.
Hey, good for you. You're going to look a lot better than me in a couple of years because I'm not a fan of cauliflower whatsoever.
Grilled Reuben sandwich. That's what I need. Or one of the local mocos, the original or the Cajun moco. It's all here at the Golden Circle Sports Bar at Treasure Island. We didn't hit all the college football games in the afternoon. Some of them coming up. It'll be interesting to see what Ohio State's going to do against Minnesota, laying 23.5. I think Florida State's going to upset Miami. They're getting 4 right now. But I think Miami's walking into a bad spot here. And I think Miami's good. I don't think Miami's great. It's also Carson Beck's first true high-level road game for the Canes. Florida State pulls the upset. How about that?
I think I'm still back in these Hurricanes. I really like Carson Beck, the entire squad. Mario Cristobal's got going on down there. If they can get in, they could go on the road here, Tallahassee, and beat a Seminole team that outside of their first loss are 18th in the nation. They're having a great season so far. So, but I see Miami going into this game. I see them getting it done. And honestly, I see them kind of going down the road and being one of the top teams and getting one of those top spots in the college football playoff.
Once I get out of here, this show gets in the way of my betting. Once I get out of here, I'm going to get me some Boise. Now it's 22, plus 22 against Notre Dame. And I think I also may jump on Mississippi State. I'd like a 17. It's 16.5, but Mississippi State at Texas A&M. I'm not blown away by Texas A&M. I think their offense is good. I'm not sure their defense is rock solid, even though Elko is a defensive guy. So there's a couple of dogs there. Boise plus 22, Mississippi State plus right now 16.5.
Not bad at it. I think
you don't have to get mad. You could just disagree.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that Boise State Notre Dame. I still think this Notre Dame team has some of what they had last year when they made it all the way to the national championship game. Rough, out the gates, but they seem to be getting their footing back again. I think the Fighting Irish really lay it down here on the Boise Broncos.
UNLV 3.5 at Wyoming. They win, they lose, they win and cover.
And you're saying, wait, what are they? What are the Rebels sitting at right now?
3.5 point favorites on the road against Wyoming.
I see the Rebels getting it done. I think Wyoming, they can blast every Kenny Chesney song they can find, and scream at the top of their lungs about how great that elevation is. I think the Rebels come in 5-0. Dan Mullen makes a statement.
Does Kenny Chesney have a cowboy song?
Kenny Chesney, all he puts out is cowboy songs.
No, I mean that's his cowboy in the title.
I have to look back, but
I'm gonna go Toby Keith. They'll play that.
Toby Keith, of course.
Cowboy song. They'll go.
It's gonna be Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson. What you know what song I'm talking about with Willie?
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do that though, because it kind of plays against being a cowboy. Because it says, "Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys."
I'm thinking of the other one. I'm thinking it was like him, and it was like, "Grandpappy told my pappy back in my day, son."
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Yes,
but
sir.
Kid Rock will play for sure.
Oh.
Hopefully the Rebels blow them out, so none of the cowboy songs have to play. I think my best play for tomorrow in the NFL. Damn it, I'm going to do it. Vikings with no offensive lineman. I'm going to lay the 3.5 against Dylan Gabriel, but I kind of hope it develops the other way. All right, guys, thank you. Great setup by Vanessa down here. Jessica back in the studio running a clean ship. Thanks to Mr. Ruffin for letting us do our Saturday show. Throw the flag here at Treasure Island and the Golden Circle Sports Bar. Come on down. Happy hour all day long, 7 days a week, 10 A to 6 P, $5 on the draft beer. We told you about the menu. It is freaking dynamite. Stick around later in the day, 3 o'clock with the Ted Weens pregame show, UNLV at Wyoming, with a 4 o'clock kickoff on ESPN Las Vegas.
When someone in our Las Vegas community gets hurt,
Thank you,
I
Jess.
take it personally.
Bye.
To fight
Jess.
for your family, to face